YW though. Hi, Facebook friends. Helen Arcantu here, CEO of the YWCA of Bergen County, the YWCA of Northern New Jersey. So happy to have you here today with us. It's Thursday, so and Happy New Year, of course, too. I know this is our second broadcast of the year. It's Thursday, and as you know, in YWTV world, Thursday is Share the Mic Now, and that's when we work to amplify the voices of Black women in our community and share conversations with wonderful women and women leaders around us. And today we have another great conversation with you, with Rhona Vega, who is the CEO of Parent Matters. And, you know, when Rhona and I were just getting ready to kick off and start, you know, we were talking about, obviously, what everyone's talking about today, what, you know, we all, many of us from home witnessed on TV yesterday what was happening at our Capitol building. And, you know, she said, you know, wondered if, you know, we should cancel and reschedule. And, you know, and what I said to her, and, you know, I had those same thoughts about, because there's so much emotion. But I think the important thing is we both agreed, you know, is to keep talking. That's how we will get through these tough times. That's how we've gotten through tough times. And hopefully build those bridges to better days ahead. So with that, I do want to focus our conversation on Rhona. And many of you know who Rhona is. She's an amazing community organizer in our midst. She is the CEO of Parent Matters, and she created Parent Matters out of love for Black and Brown children and the desire to continue her mother's legacy. She spent the last 35 years cultivating Parent Matters while managing the education of her 5 children. Rather than keeping powerful and life-changing resources to herself, she decided to use Parent Matters as a vehicle to help families empower parents with educational tools and to help their own children find their passion to succeed. And I actually met Rhona in the community years ago at many events we end up together, and have always had a tremendous amount of respect for the work that she's doing. So I'm so grateful to finally have her here to share it with all of you. So welcome, Rhona. Thank you for joining us, and Happy New Year.
Welcome. Happy New Year. Thank you so much, Helen, for having me. What an awesome opportunity that you created here for Black women to share their voices, and so many other programs that the YW does in the community that helps so many people in diverse communities. So thank you for this platform and allowing me to be a guest. Thank you.
Well, you know, I'm just so happy that we're going to get to finally talk to you. So I want to hear, tell us about your mother and her legacy that brought you to creating Parent Matters.
Mom, wow. So in March, at the beginning of the COVID-19 shutdown, we lost my mom to COVID-19 here in Teaneck. She was one of the first 100 people to pass. So Mom, oh wow, I'm still in a little disarray and shock of her not being here, but she raised the 6 of us in New York City, and she really started Parent Matters just with us growing up in public housing and keeping us off the street and in something all the time. We were at summer camp or in something after school because she worked quite a bit, like 3 jobs. And so that was her way of making sure we became productive citizens of society and didn't become a menace in any way, and just helping other people and doing things. So that was her way. And being a mom of 5 kids now, it is how I've raised my kids. I'm continuing that legacy through Parent Matters, and it's such a great vehicle we've created to help other young people. Initially, it was selfish just for me and my kids, and I thought, wow, this could really be beneficial to so many other people. And I think what happened when my 3rd child, my son, was at UPenn at Wharton School of Business, and he came home from a summer program, 4 weeks, and he was there with some pretty elite folks too, Black and brown kids. And I remember him coming home saying, why weren't there more kids from my community there, or any kids that I even know? Like, I didn't know any of those people. and they were from all over the world. And I said, we got to do something about that. He was terrified about going. He did not want to go. And just for the record, none of my kids wanted to do any of the things I suggested. But kind of like my mom raised us, the rule in the house is if you live here, you kind of got to do what we say. So that worked out. And I just thought, we have to answer that call. Why aren't there other young people right here in our area? And then it's broadened to many other areas. And that's what we've been doing, sharing resources.
Wow. It's beautiful to hear you describe your mother. And it's interesting. It's how I hear you described. Same words that I hear you described and what I know of you. So, truly she lives on clearly in you. And as you said, the others in your family and your children as well. So, you're a mom of 5.
Yes.
And you've taken all that you learned in, being a parent and package it into this organization. Tell us some of the ways that you are doing your work. I know I follow your organization. And for those of you watching, you can follow Parent Matters on Facebook, on Instagram, I believe.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I was going to say pretty sure. And we have the links here, and we have them also. I see Janine has put it into the links. We were putting it in anyway, but she got it to us first. That's great. So people can go to the website. But tell us a little bit. I know because I follow you. You're always live yourself. This is something I know you're comfortable with. You're always, or I should say you do, I'm not comfortable with, but you do, as we talked about. But you're always live yourself. You're always bringing stories yourself, into the community. Tell us a little bit about those, kind of mastering those vehicles and getting the word out and how you do that.
Yeah, I just feel the incredible urge to share these resources. I see how it's changed my own children and then other young people we work with locally. And I just think a lot of times we don't know what we don't know. We don't even know that we need an educational plan or a plan for our kids. And so this wasn't something I grew up with in a sense of my mom was very involved in my school. But I do know that a lot of parents don't understand it. I think there is a little bit of a syndrome that goes on in the suburbs that people feel like this is a great school system. I dropped them off for 12 years and we're good. And I beg to differ. I think your involvement, as little or as much as you can, it doesn't have to be all the time with the PTO or just being engaged with your children it makes a world of a difference. Just one important fact, teachers are, first of all, phenomenal people. Administrators, all school professionals, kudos to them for everything that they're doing right now in this situation. But they pay attention when you're paying attention to your kids. Mm-hmm. I had a teacher once say to me, I always answer your emails, Ms. Vega, because I never know when you're going to show up in the school. And I thought, okay. Mm-hmm. But, they have a lot of students that they're trying to love on and educate. So sometimes they really can only handpick a few to really pour into. And you want that to be your child. You want an opportunity to show up in guidance. Like my sons have been, so many opportunities have been thrown their way because when something is, put in front of a teacher or a community member, you want them to be like, oh, wow, I wonder if, and that happened to us just last Sunday. A future board member contacted me and said, hey, there's a scholarship. Do you know any kids? So I've become a conduit, a pipeline where people are sharing so much information. I've made relationships with organizations like Google and All Star Code, and where they're actually giving me specific codes. So when a student applies, they will know it came from me. So it kind of puts them at a different level when the application is being reviewed. I've been asked to be on review committees. So it didn't start out like this, but now it's beautiful that we're able to help so many young people. So we do it. We send out emails through Constant Contact. So you can go on my website and register. So you'll always get information that's applicable for, I would say, mostly middle school, sometimes elementary school through and beyond college, because sometimes there are fellowships or scholarships or internships. And there's so much information that I'm learning as a mom dealing with my own kids and their education that I just did not know. And it's like, why would I hold on to that information? Why wouldn't I immediately share this information and let other parents benefit and their kids benefit? Because if I didn't know, They probably don't know.
Yeah.
So,
and I can attest the emails are really informative. I'm on your e-blast list too. And it is amazing to me the information that you're able to amass, and get out. And what's wonderful about all of it is it really is about opportunities. I mean, you're really handing parents opportunities for their children.
yes, that's so important. And yeah, so the emails, we just started a show called The Power of Exposure. So I thought about all these young people at home remote, and some people are really struggling. Even my kids were struggling with it, and parents, of course, that we would just kind of do something inspirational. So I have these phenomenal young people that have been kind of like put in front of me and share their stories about maybe middle school on. And how they, because I think this is something my daughter said. She's a junior in high school. She's the baby. She said, because of social media, 23-year-olds feel like they're already failures in life. And I thought, oh, wow. So I didn't grow up with social media, thank God. Yeah. And it has been a challenge trying to restrict our kids. And, we had rules when they were growing up where they had to plug their phones up in our room at 9:30 at night. And that is real. And I just suggest any parent who has a child under like 12th grade, and our kids didn't even have phones until they were like 11th and 12th grade. The younger one kind of benefited earlier because she happened to be at Verizon with us. Mm-hmm. But, these, like some of these boundaries you have to set for your kids because they don't know how to set them themselves. And they could be online all night and not getting enough sleep, and not their mental health is failing because of this. So you definitely you're not going to be popular. We're not popular. I know my kids love me, but I'm not very popular. Sometimes they're like, Mom, you're really cool. But a lot of times when I say no, it's kind of like, but they benefited. Even video games. My son, someone reached out to me recently and said some new video system that's out, and said, hey, do you want it? I have an extra one. And I'm like, I asked my sons and they were like, no, you never really let us have that when we were younger. So we don't have the dexterity skills to really keep up now. And I'm like, really? And they're like, no, it's a good thing, Mom. We didn't need that. We played it at our cousin's house or our friend's house. So, and having control and limiting their time on some of these devices, so they can do other things. Granted, I believe my kids have had a wonderful childhood in life. So without video games constantly 24/7 and their telephones, but I think that's really important that you monitor their activities.
I couldn't agree more as a parent. And I think that obviously is a challenge right now with COVID too, because we do have our kids in the house so much and they are limited in terms of their social interaction, and that has become a way that people, the children are having play dates, as crazy as it sounds, because they can't be together. But the limiting is very important. You said something early on in this broadcast, and we were talking about your son getting to school and not seeing a lot of people like him there, and not seeing a lot of people from his community there. And obviously, that being part of your interest in your work and, goal in your work with Parent Matters to, try to impact that. Can you talk a little bit more about that and ways that we can actively be helping, work towards your son seeing more people, that look like him when
Definitely.
He goes to school? And I know obviously.
No, definitely.
You said it, I know, but.
Well, I think, that the exposure opportunities that we're putting out there, it's on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube, subscribe there at Parent Matters, and you'll see some of the videos. I've been told to shorten them because some of these conversations have been, up to an hour. These young people have so much to share. And I think one of the things I was saying before is like, there's no straight line to success. Mm-hmm. So some of these young people have already experienced some great success, but they've also experienced a lot of great failure. And you have to understand that that's part of the course. Just keep going. Don't give up. I think that we need to form more partnerships with the school districts. I have definitely been knocking on doors for a long time. We did some great work with Union City students, high school students, and with TNAC. But guidance counselors, I feel, can't do everything. My kids have had phenomenal guidance counselors, and I just think that the workload is too much, right? And, so we need partnerships. So I feel like, Parent Matters can be a vehicle that school districts and parents both can use to just look at some of these opportunities. I had someone from the Y, I don't know if it was Lori that came over. We did an opportunities expo at Teaneck High School, which was phenomenal. It was our first one. It was actually this week, last January. It was great because we had the college students home. So the college students were in the expo, kind of massaging the high school students who were a little shy to go to one of the 50 tables. We had representatives from Wall Street down to public service jobs, just volunteer opportunities. We had YW there, just so many different mentoring programs like you have, the Coalition of 100 Black Women, so many opportunities. So we did it during the day, and the goal was to have all 1,200 students circulate throughout the day to find out some different opportunities. And I don't know, my kids are the kind of kids that if they go on a field trip or they do something fun and they come home and they beg me to take them back, they're like, Mom, I know how to get there. Before we had GPS, they were like, we can tell you how to get back to that apple farm or whatever. So I think once you light a fire under students, under children, that they will beg their parents enough to try to, to get to that same opportunity. So I think what we have to share and help parents understand is that, one, they need an educational plan. They need to understand some things that have to happen throughout their child's educational career. And by middle school, you have to have already started exposing them to a college campus, even if that's not their road that they're going to go down. Because my son said he would never go to college. He never thought he would survive college. And that's why I put him in like the Rutgers Business School program. That's a junior for junior high school juniors. That gave him an opportunity to be in class with college students every Saturday. Now it's remote. So I've been telling people all over the country, sign up. It's remote. This is the perfect time to try something. And so that is I really feel that there are some COVID blessings. I feel like parents are seeing for the first time their kids being educated. We've never saw that. We were never allowed in the classroom like that unless we were going in for story time, right? So I think that is going to encourage more parents to stay more involved and engaged. That is my dream. That is what I'm hoping. And I think, and I know it's a time issue. I know all parents want their kids to be successful, but they're exhausted, they're tired, and it's a journey. But my thing is this: do it now, right? For these 12 years while they're in school, pour everything you can into them. Of course, take your breaks, respite, recharge. But then, and I'm a little selfish, right? With 5 kids, I'm like, you guys cannot be on my sofa at 35. You got to get out of my house and be independent. So with that, it's kind of like, I got to make sure they find something. And I always tell my kids, I don't care if you're the CEO or whatever, just do what you love and make a living and be a decent human being. And, just leave the world different than you found it. Those are my 3 rules. And please, try not to be in my house for more than 6 months at a time after 35.
I love that. Well, I know that you are actively working hard to leave the world a better place, for your children in lots of different ways. I know this is one of them. And last night you were part of a planning committee with an event that the YW is working on with Javalda Powers, who was on recently talking about the Black Lives Matter mural. Which note right now while I'm mentioning it, those of you watching, we're actively trying to get the Teaneck Council to approve keeping the mural permanently in Teaneck. And so please write letters and call the Teaneck Council and the mayor and let them know that this is important to you. We as the YWCA are sending our letters of support and encouraging our networks to do it, but we encourage all of you to do the same. You've obviously been in Teaneck a very long time. What was it like for you to be part of that mural process and be in the presence of it? I know I saw a beautiful photo of you and your kids there.
Yes. Very important, very inspiring. Standing there, all I can think about are my ancestors. I'm constantly paying homage to everyone who's poured into me, those who I've met and those who I haven't met. And I think that that's just so incredible. I'm just so proud of the whole committee, especially our young people on the committee who have done a great job. I'm very disappointed in what my dear friend, Councilwoman Javon Romney Rice, is up against, and just trying to hold Tina together, and really in everyone's corner. And it's just so disappointing that the troubles that she goes through. Lizette Parker, our former mayor, was a dear friend of ours as well. And so we got to keep having these conversations. We got to keep making progress. I have a tribe, and I'm a part of Javon's tribe, and we try to hold each other up, and on those days where you're just like, oh my gosh, we can't take another step. And so we actually created an organization called Imagine Me 2 years ago, which is a safe space for women to focus on themselves, self-care, self-love, pursue their passions and dreams. And so it's like our little bubble where we just get to unwind, relax. I've always dreamt of Friday night church. So we meet on Friday nights, and it's just, a great opportunity for us to come together. So shout out to all my Imagine Me young ladies, sisters that, keep me together and pour into me. I also want to give a shout out to my Delta Sigma Theta sorority sisters. I'm a new member, and I'm just so grateful for just for having a community and a tribe. And that's another thing about parenting. One of my just most important tips is you have to have a support system. You cannot be a parent in isolation and be successful. I've been so fortunate with 5 kids. You attend an event, you meet a mom, you connect, and you're carpooling, you're so many different things. You're running late from work, and that one can pick up your child. This is what you need, and you have to have a village around your children. And I can't take credit for everything my kids have done, because there are constantly people pouring into them, and people that I can text like I did yesterday, and I'm like, hey, you need to talk to so and so. And that's a beautiful thing to have that, because kids are kind of funny. They don't always show their parents 100% respect, but they may listen to someone else.
Yeah.
And it bothers my husband tremendously, but I say to him, don't take it personal. Just find somebody else to say the same message and get through. I also want to give a shout out to the TNEC Democratic Municipal Committee. I'm on the Public Relations Committee for TDMC, so that's really important. TNEC Women Together, another phenomenal group of women that just are doing so much to help each other. And Never Alone Again. Oh my God. That's where we meet actually in real life. We meet at Never Alone Again, our Imagine Me group. So, just parenting is important, but you got to do self-care. Think of always when you fly on the plane, they tell you, put the oxygen on yourself first. So I have gotten really smarter about that in the last 5 years. If you follow me on Facebook, you see me putting them oxygen masks on. And then I can give to other people, the community, my kids, my husband, my village. But you have to take care of yourself. And mental health, exercise, eating well is really important. So when I do my little Facebook Lives, that's kind of what I'm like, this kind of popped in my head. And I'm like, I got to just share this with someone. And you don't really think people are listening. But when I was at the Black Lives Matter mural one day at one of the events, someone came over to me and said, hey, I miss you on Facebook. And it really shook me up. And I thought, because I didn't even know this person that well. And I was like, oh, wow, people really listen and people really get encouraged. So that's what helps me kind of get over hearing and seeing myself and say, keep going. I have mentors and people who pour into me, and they just say, keep going, Rhona, just keep going.
Well, I hope you do keep going, because there's many of us in the community that you are inspiring and teaching and lifting up, and I'm it's definitely needed, and it's wonderful to hear you share about your circles and share about the self-care importance. These are all things that we need to hear and we need to model. And it's wonderful to have such a strong woman in the community be sharing it as a priority, so others can, take that on as well, for sure. So
yes, I'm working on a couple of books.
Yes.
And for parents and for women, self-care. creating a system that parents can follow, that it will just make it a little bit easier, that administrators can follow. So there's a lot of things in the works that when I take my little self-care trips, I'm like, it's really a workcation.
Mhm.
Even if it's for a weekend, it's sometimes you just need that, that precious time, unbothered time. When I was reading Obama's, one of his books, I have so much respect for his mom
Mm.
because she rented him a cabin in Indonesia for 30 days for him to finish one of his books. And I remember reading that, and I could have closed the book then. I was like, I'm done. That's what I need. I just need that time when I can sometimes just, I've poured into so many people, my kids. I'm on my third marriage. Thank God this one's been 23 years strong. But it takes a lot of energy. You're a mom of twins, and that's like having 5 kids, I'm sure. It's pretty similar. So you just have to pour into yourselves. And I think women have to continue to give themselves permission, especially moms. We don't think sometimes that everybody can function without us, but you taking 24 hours away from your family will bring you back as a phenomenal person, a much better wife, a much better partner, a much better mom. And sometimes they appreciate it more than you do.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they need the break. So I'm also starting a TV show called More Than Enough. And it'll be advertised. It'll be shown 72 million households. Still having a hard time saying that. But it will feature women and men in our communities that are doing some phenomenal things. Another way to inspire folks, because I am such a people magnet, a connector, and I'm not really sure why God kind of put that on my plate, but I want to do something powerful with all and share these voices like you're similar to what you're doing of all these phenomenal people that I know that really make me look so much better. And so that's what we'll be doing starting in probably the first week of February. It'll start airing on Friday nights at 7.
Wonderful. Well, keep us posted of all of that. We'll definitely be sharing. And I love hearing that you're writing books also and, taking all the information that you've been carrying and sharing in the community and, packaging it for, memorializing it so people, have it, for good. I mean, you are a true light in our community, Rhona, and, just very grateful that not only are you so in tune with yourself, and as you evolve, though you keep sharing your evolution with everyone else, so we get to evolve with you, and that's really really a gift that you share your journey.
Thank you so much. I do want to give one more shout out. I have 3 interns from Bergen Academies, where my daughter is a student, and those young men are just phenomenal. They give me life on the days that I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah, so I just want to give a shout out to the 3 of them. They're in the midst of their college applications, Peter, Michael, and Asher, and just so much love and support for them because they, sometimes when you're doing something, you're kind of like questioning yourself and they're like, no, we got to keep going. We got to keep going. So just so much love to my kids, my husband, my village. You guys all know who you are, who pour into me constantly. And thank you. I couldn't be here doing what I'm doing without you. So much love.
Well, as we're kind of closing out, I guess just, you are surrounded by so many young people. And, I think that was one of the challenges waking up this morning, I'm sure, for educators and, for parents, although as parents, we were all struggling with words yesterday, let alone this morning. But what is a message to share, with young people to kind of get us through where we are today?
So in relation to yesterday or just overall?
Well, I mean, I think yesterday is a reflection of overall, unfortunately, what we saw, playing out. So, whatever speaks to you, I guess I just know there's a lot of parents today seeking words and a lot of educators, seeking words.
Yeah. It's really tough. I'm still all settling with me. My kids and we didn't have a full conversation. They just kind of gave me that look. I gave them that look. I think my sons kind of knew that I didn't really want them driving right now. I had to make sure my daughter was secure in DC. She's now in Maryland. One of my friends who's in Congress, I just had to make, just sending out a lot of good energy to all of us, right? I'm worried about voters and people, Black people and brown people in Georgia. The minute everything happened, I woke up super excited, so excited. And I'm like, okay, now I'm nervous, right? Because, my daughter did a lot of work in Georgia, and I know there's a lot of rural areas. Just as a people, it's just so disheartening. I'm just going to say, seeing that yesterday, the little bit that I saw, because I don't watch a lot of news, and looking at my son, and almost simultaneously we said, I wonder how many bullets would have been in our bodies by the time we got to Pelosi's chair. And that is that is something to sit with. I don't really know how we can't explain this. We can just keep having conversations with our children and our students. And this is not something that happens every day. This is something that we're going to have to work through. And it's always good to know who's who. I always believe that. It's always good to know where people stand. And so we can watch our backs, and then I think we just have to continue doing what we're doing, keep having these conversations. More people are listening to each other, and the most important thing is we have more than just Black and brown people having these conversations. We're tired of talking. We're talked out.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're in this conversation and other people who don't look like me are in this conversation is huge, and is what's going to make the impact and the difference, So I think that's I think it's still important. As some people tease me, why do you have those rose-colored glasses on? I'm going to continue to wear these rose-colored glasses. One, because it keeps me sane. And I think that's the most important thing. Our mental health, my therapist said to me, all Black women, and she's not a Black woman, should be in trauma therapy because of everything our ancestors, and then the things that we deal with on a daily basis that we just kind of like, that didn't really happen, because you want to keep going.
Yeah.
You don't want to let it take you out. So just hold on, have these conversations, find a support group, find a Zoom group for your kids, find some outside safe activities. I think getting outside is important. Sometimes I have to push my kids out the door, but it's like, it's been 4 days and you haven't seen the sun. So I think all of these things tie in together, but hold on. I actually see a brighter day coming. I really do.
Well, you know that I'll be standing with you and walking toward it for sure. And, for those of you watching, obviously the YWCA is asking everyone to do the 21-day Racial Equity and Social Justice Challenge. For those of you that have done it, I'm sure when you're watching instances like yesterday, it's actually seeing some of the articles and podcasts and people sharing kind of live in action. And it's important for people to take that challenge and to learn and unlearn. And to understand white privilege and to understand power and control and, to understand racism and origins. So I do encourage people to take the 21-day challenge if you have not done it, and then to think about it as you're going through your daily life. Because Rhona's talking about her rose-colored glasses. There's many of us that just have to take our glasses off that we've been living with all of these years, and see. Sometimes you see more clearly without them. So I do encourage people to sign up, to participate, and then to really think about ways that you can use that information in your life. Because we are on a mission to eliminate racism, and it is something that we all need to be doing together. And so with that, also we encourage you, if there's other, there's so many wonderful Black women in our community, and every Thursday we have this forum, that we're sharing. So all ages and stages in life, we love to showcase. So please, reach out and let us know if there's someone who has a story to share. We're here and, happy to use this platform to be able to amplify voices. Tomorrow on YWTV, we end out the week. I can't believe it's Friday already. That first week, for me, I had taken a few days off last week, so that first week back from vacation is a doozy, and kind of comes right at you. So, but it's Friday already tomorrow. But we're going to end the week with Heidi Tova, and a professional organizer, and she's going to be talking to us at 2:30 tomorrow with some great tips. I know many people have done a lot of cleaning projects during this time of COVID, that they've been locked in their house looking around and thinking about how something might, look better or different, or do I really need this anymore? So we'll be getting some great tips from Tova. And earlier tomorrow, also on Friday, our Friendship Friday program for seniors, we have a wonderful conversation about how seniors can share their story of their life through scrapbooking and journaling. That's really one of the best gifts you can leave your family, is making sure that they know your story so that they can pass the legacy down. I mean, listening to Rhona alone, is inspirational. She clearly is living her mother's legacy, and her children will be doing the same, because they've made sure to pass those stories. And so this is a wonderful way for you to learn how to do it. No charge, virtual. You can sign up on our website, and we do encourage people to join us. And with that, have a great day. Try to keep yourself strong, and we've gotten so much great advice from Rhona and ways to do that. But together as a community, we will, see through to the days where the light is ahead, as Rhona said. So
don't be afraid to have those courageous conversations. Start them.
For sure. And we're going to be, Rhona, when you're doing your books, when you've got your show going, we'll be sharing that information with everybody too. But everyone, please check out Parents Matters website, check out all the social media pages. Make sure you get on the e-list so that you can get all the great resources.
This is scholarship season, and this is also season to apply for summer opportunities, summer professional development. So this is for your, 5th grade through college. So this is the time to take advantage of all of that.
So make sure you can do that, and she'll make sure you have that information. And Janine's been a rock star. She's been sticking all the links right in here for us to make sure.
My rock star. Everyone needs a cheerleader. I have a whole bunch. Yay.
Well, you sure do. And they're on here cheering for you. And I'm not surprised at all. But grateful to have this time with everybody today. And be well. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Helen.